Hello, you're listening to Back to the Boardroom. I'm Greer.
And I'm James.
And this week we are going off to Egypt. No, I wish we actually were, but no, instead we're going to the corporate away day task, which is always a good one. What did you think of the episode, James?
Yes, a classic, a favourite of ours, where the two teams get out their light yellow and baby blue t-shirts or team wear and have to have a day full of fun, food and fantastic service. Or not.
Yes, that's the dream. This task never goes well. Every single episode, there is a multitude of cringy moments, terrible tours, always terrible food and timings. And this year, we have so much to talk about. So I know we've slightly recapped the task there, but do you want to give a little overview of what they had to do?
Yes, so each team was given options for their kind of itinerary. So whether they could do some sort of tour or activity and a team building exercise. I think they had some form of free reign and could structure the day as they liked. And of course, part of that day includes food, in which they can choose where they want to place themselves in terms of budget for meals, and of course have to make and serve the meal.
And I love it when there's food involved, as we always say, because it just
Exactly.
makes things even worse.
Exactly, and always is a profit task, so they've got to negotiate how much the experience will be, minus their spend, and also refunds.
Yes, and we will get on to the refunds a little bit later. But first, I think we should go through some of our top moments because there's some brilliant ones this week.
There is. And before, I don't know if this really has to go in a top moment section, so I'm going to say it now because I'm slightly irked by client negotiations, especially DS Auto.
Sorry, but the fact that you've noted down the business name is very you. I love it.
Of course. Well, it was Auto and DS Auto, the two businesses.
Brand watch.
Exactly, yeah. Eclipse, Megan's team, they got DS Auto, and they obviously went in quite high with an initial pitch of 10,000 US dollars for their corporate away day. And the corporate client came immediately back and said something like, for 10k, I'd expect a private jet to the pyramids. Now, I think that's a bit unfair. So I did a quick bit of research. So I found this website called Paramount Business Jets for private jet charter.
I thought you were going to say, I found his LinkedIn and I've sent him a message.
No, and I got here a estimated private jet charter cost from Cairo to Sharm el Sheikh, and the cheapest I could find with a turboprop aircraft, so not even a jet, so technically it's not a private jet as they quoted, and this is in the range of 11,000 to 13,000 euros. So just want to call out on the corporate clients' rubbish.
Yeah.
Essentially.
You were thinking of another word, not rubbish.
Yes. I'm sure Lord Sugar would be more frank. But yes, there we go. So I thought that was a bit unfair. So, going off at that price, if it is, they're expecting that and more and not willing, I don't know. I thought they were set up to fail a bit with that negotiation.
Definitely. Okay, I think my whole top moment now is you sitting before this podcast begins, Googling private jet prices. You've ruined your algorithm on social media and just the internet this season. You've had hair transplants and now private jets. Your fiance is going to look at your browser history and be like, is he having a crisis?
So why am I marrying this man?
Yeah, I know. Maybe let's not let her look at it for a few months. But yeah, excellent. I mean, they were, I don't know if it's people know what the corporate away day task is. Are they playing the game? Is you kind of sometimes get people in business when they have their 5 seconds of fame kind of trying to be funny or doing something silly to be memorable or sort of poke fun at the format. So I don't know, maybe this guy just wanted to his moment on camera, and he'd stored up whatever the price is. Maybe even if it was $5,000, he would have made that. I was going to say a joke. It's not a joke. It's just a line that he'd stored up about the pyramids. But yeah, love it that you've actually Googled the prices.
Yeah, I was outraged. I thought this could not possibly be.
So I'm going to move on from one of your moments that has outraged you and to the one that outraged me the most this week. And I have to say it revolves around parsley because
I knew you were going to say this.
I know. What on earth? Like, Levi hasn't been in a lot of it, I don't think. He's stayed out of the boardroom because he was feeling ill, and he's been in the background, and we've heard about his bad social media comments. But I'm sorry, this moment of him chopping up the parsley for Priyesh's curry and then believing that you keep the stalks or the stems. They're not even stalks, they're stems. They're so thin rather than the leaves. I guess if he's only eaten like celery or something before. But yeah, he must have had broccoli. Come on.
But even if you thought that you bin the leaves, surely prior to binning anything you would check, no? I don't know.
True, but I don't know. This begs the question as what does Levi eat on a regular basis? Because if you've had a curry, if you've had something with a garnish on, you would have seen it as a leaf, whether or not it's a parsley leaf or anything. You've never really had a meal, I don't think, that's got little cut up green bits of stem in. Surely.
Well, maybe that's what his parsley mash looks like.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, I love that. And we were watching and my partner said, oh no, they're going to have to get it out the bin now and use it. And I thought, what? In what world would you get something out of the bin anyway to feed to clients? But they can't show that on the BBC. They cannot have. The risk assessment hasn't been filled out going to Egypt with food from the bin. So, yeah, great moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. I think there are too many moments that I'm not going to be able to say them all. But I'd say probably my next favourite moment was probably when Rajan got beached in his kayak. Well, and the kayaking saga altogether. So they weren't in the lead of they weren't leading the group, so they got lost and they were 2 hours late. They didn't realize they were going kayaking, so all arrived wet and unhappy, and obviously Rajan beached his kayak.
But just what a weird thing anyway. If you were kayaking in Egypt for a corporate away day, it sounds really fun. But why wouldn't you tell them, Yeah. Why are you turning up wet for your lunch? I mean, it's just all awful. But I don't think the other team did much better, really. I probably would have preferred to be soaked eating my food after a morning of kayaking than join the boat trip, which sounds great, but you also hear about facts of sewerage, which again was a big one of my moments that I've written down about what on earth is this. But then also you've got the group that did this strange Viper game in a cave for ages, stood around playing like a children's game. I know even as a child I would have found that boring.
It sounds like someone watched The Traitors recently.
Oh, yes.
And wanted to replay it. But quickly coming back to your point on the boat tour, obviously, yes, they did. Megan's team did the boat tour and then the kayaking, so they would have found out about the sewerage and then got all all wet from the kayaks. So
Lovely.
obviously not going to be connected, but it will probably be going through their minds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they probably thought as well, like, oh, we've had a bit of a dull boat tour. Even though the scenery's nice, we've heard about some very boring facts. Now we're going to go do a fun activity afterwards. But then it just wasn't good either. So, yeah, these corporate away day tasks, nothing is great at all. They're either sort of treated as if they're children, which really winds me up because you've gone to Egypt, you want to have fun, but why are we playing like trust games, or as you say, the traitors, not even looking at the sscenery. But then on the other hand, you've got everything being so disorganized. And I'm going to add, okay, I'm going to get to my top moment of the potato wedges, but I must say I'm annoyed by the idea that they were having to play that Viper game. Then there was an hour to get back to where they were going to eat. And just the idea that you've had a really boring morning and then you're hangry, like I just would not be able to do it. And then obviously potato wedges, raw, uncooked potato. When they came in to complain, they asked, is it just the one? That made me laugh, as if one potato was just going to be complained about. And then they said, just leave it on the table. And so everyone left their entire starter.
Yes, not ideal. I will end on a good note though.
Great.
Despite the food disasters, I feel like Rothnur was good in the kitchen. Like the only thing that she had sole responsibility of, they liked. And I felt she gave quite good direction. You need someone to take the lead and have the direction. Sure, her subordinates, or I don't know the
team.
word, her team, yes,
Yeah.
didn't do great with the main or the starter, but I thought the organisation was there. So that's my positive take.
That is good. She does seem to have her head screwed on, perhaps a bit more than some of the other candidates. So more from her over the next few weeks. Now, James, what on earth have you cooked up for us this week? Because you can't surely want me to plan a corporate away day. You haven't flown me to Egypt. What is our elevator pitch going to be?
So our elevator pitch will be planning a corporate away day, and some added food if you're feeling lucky. We have got the independent adjudicator to provide our two options as usual. So this one, to make it a bit nicer for us, there are actually two options on each.
Ooh.
So there's, I believe, a city in the UK and a city abroad.
Okay.
So ideally, the city in the UK will probably be easier because hopefully you'll know more about that city. But you can also choose the city abroad if you want a challenge, I guess, or happen to know about that city.
Okay. So you're going to make me go first again, aren't you? I can see your eyes have lit up gleefully at this point in the podcast, and it's going to be me as number one.
Yes, indeed. I don't know how well I'm going to do, but
that's
exactly. That's the
hell we put ourselves through in the elevator pitch.
Exactly. Shouldn't be lost for words before the elevator pitch. That does not bode well. Okay. 1 minute on the timer. Two options in front of you.
So I usually pick the diagonal, but you've picked me up on it a few weeks, so I'm going to pick the one that is straight up vertical. And I'm going to regret it, probably. But let's go. Let's see.
Straight up vertical. Right, Greer. Your corporate away day with no preparation and 1 minute to explain. Okay, I will start the timer after I've read it out.
God.
So your cities, you choose one, remember, is Paris or Liverpool. Your time starts now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, and I can add some food in as well. So I think I'm going to choose the corporate away day in Liverpool. Obviously, my company doesn't have a big budget, but I think you've got to do a little bit of something touristy. And Liverpool, what do we think of? The Beatles. There's so many different hotspots, and probably people that live in the UK, they're not someone that thinks, oh, I'm going to go off and explore all of those. So perhaps we could do some of the Beatles tours as the activities, going around looking at where John Lennon used to live, go to the cavern club area, which will be quite fun and cool and a bit different. And then also the facts would be interesting if we were being given a tour rather than sewerage. But then also that leads into music. Perhaps there could be some fun musical team building if we have to do team building. Food-wise, something great British or some of Liverpool's best street food, for example, we could go around and have.
That is time.
Oh, God, I was thinking, that's really hard. What do you even want on a corporate away day? I should have thought about that ahead of time. But yeah, food, the Beatles, some music. But then I started thinking, what do we want out of this? I don't know, stressful, but there you go. I tried.
I think you did well.
Thank you.
am not looking forward to this. I have no idea what's in here, and I think I'm going to do rather awfully. But here we go.
We will see. That is the name of the game. So, 1 minute on the timer, ready to go. James, do you want to read out the diagonal? If this one is nicer, I'll go back to picking this one next week.
Okay, so... So I have got either Madrid or Edinburgh.
Well, your time starts now.
Okay, so I am going to go with Madrid, even though I have no idea what I'm going to do there. But I'm starting with the most important thing, the food. So Spanish, like paella, tapas, sort of on that vibe. I think some sort of very cultural... I think go with the tapas, like a lot of different bits, like, Iberico ham. You could probably have a mini paella dish. I'm sure they like their squid, I believe, and so on, and seafood. Anyway, there is a cable car in Madrid, so we could start by going down that. And I believe there's a zoo. So this is not a good call.
The time is up anyway. We've got squid and the zoo and a cable car. I mean, that's good. That was some better knowledge perhaps than I had for Liverpool.
I don't think a cable car is very fun though. I mean, it's okay, but it's not.
It has that element of fear, a corporate away day, some sort of bonding thing. People might get a bit nervous and, I don't know, bond on the cable car.
You could have done, I guess, a city tour from the cable car.
That sounds good.
That would have been better. I don't know what the fun part would have been. I think I overemphasized the food and spent a lot of my thought on the food. So
Iberico ham and squid.
Iberico ham, paella.
Well, I mean, I like the sound of that. I think both would probably be quite fun and a lot better than the trips that we just had to watch for Egypt. So I think we did all right. That was a hard one, though. Yeah,
definitely. Oh, glad that one's over.
So please let us know what you thought of our elevator pitches. Did you prefer my Liverpudlian trip to Beatles Mania, or do you prefer James's Iberico ham and cable car and zoo combo in Madrid? You can let us know on WhatsApp on 07379 171 890, or you can let us know on Instagram at Back to the Boardroom. So it is time to go back to the boardroom this week, and it was quite an eventful one. I think perhaps before we get on to Lord Sugar's comments or who was fired and who won, I think I'm going to bring up the fact that when we got back to the house just before the boardroom, there was a bit of a discussion about how everybody's true colours are now coming out at this part of the game and the competition. And I thought it was interesting that they said that Priyesh had completely changed personality after coming back from Egypt, and he was just so anxious. I felt really bad for him, and you could see that a bit later on, but he obviously was terrified.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think, the hunger to win or even to get further in the process, I think you could really see he was not wanting to let himself down by losing the challenge that he was the project manager for.
Yeah. And I think Lord Sugar was, again, he used the phrase pissed off in the boardroom this week. Strong words from Lord Sugar. I don't think has been having a great time with these challenges. He's angry, says there's some of the worst performances he's ever seen. Social media, people are buzzing, saying the same thing. Shall we go into the stats and how people did before we, I guess, analyse the
Yes. Do you want me to recap some of the numbers?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so we had Alpha spending £1,803, getting £2,800 for their away day, but 20%, that's £560 worth of refunds, which only gave them a profit of £437. But still better than Eclipse spending more slightly at 1,890, charging more for their away day at 3,200, but 1,600 of that was a refund at 50%, giving them a loss of 290, which is you never want a loss.
No, you really don't. Something that I noticed that I wanted to ask you about is you'd said previously that Baroness Brady seems to be being quite vocal this season and sort of snapping back at what some of the teams are saying. And she did it again in this boardroom. She jumped in and said to Rajan, who had apparently claimed to be a expert team in the kitchen and everything, she really bit back at him.
Yes, yeah. It was, I know, yeah, I get Rajan didn't say the word luxury, but he very much, I don't think the advertising standards agency would look too kindly on it. I think it was quite misleading,
yes,
as others noted.
Definitely. So Megan's team were the losing team, and she decided to bring back in Carrington, mainly because she couldn't cook a potato, and Andrea because she was negative a lot of the time. And I think a lot of people are going to be discussing, I think, online about bringing Andrea back in because of the negativity. She says that she's being realistic and identifying potential problems, but there were several times during the task she kept saying, I don't like to be negative and I'm not being a negative, but. So perhaps it's something she's been pulled up on previously if she's got that little disclaimer before she gives a negative statement.
Yeah, I think I can remember some negativity from previous tasks. And there's a fine line between, being realistic and being so negative that it actually becomes unproductive for the team. And I think that line was crossed. At least from the edit, that's what we saw.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. And Lord Sugar just seemed annoyed. He was just, I think, done, really, with this boardroom because he went to fire Megan. It didn't sound quite definitive. So when he said, Megan, you're fired, I was like, oh, that's a bit unexpected. I thought she might go, but I don't know. Usually does a bit of a spiel and some more chatting. But she went, and then she went to get up and say thank you, but he immediately was like, no, sit down. So I got very excited at this point because, as you know, if you've been listening to Back to the Boardroom, we made some predictions from the beginning of the season, and one of my predictions was that a double firing was going to come in week 6, and I thought, yes, it's happening.
You also predicted Andrea to win.
Yes, okay. Well, raining on my parade, but I was really excited at this point, even though James has completely ruined it now. But I thought we're going to get the double firing. I'm going to get that point from you when we come on the podcast. And then he fires Carrington. Great. And then Andrea, I thought, was you really negative? Get back to the house. Try
You're
to
leading
not
the
be.
next one.
Yeah, exactly. And then he immediately went, you're fired again, which, incredible. Brilliant scenes. Triple firing. But I know that means you're going to give me a half point.
I think it might be a half point. It wasn't a double firing,
exactly.
Was it?
No.
However, I do have to pitch in on this, and I thought when he told Megan to sit down after just telling her she'd been fired, I would have been seething. It's like, I'm not sitting down. I'm leaving.
Yeah, you can't rescind the firing.
Exactly.
She just wants her there to watch the others go, or only pay for one taxi instead of 3.
Yeah, I thought it was quite ruthless, but I did get the impression that something was coming. I thought a double firing, but a triple nonetheless was... Yeah, I don't know if we've had a triple firing before.
I can't remember. You're the statistician, if that's the right word, of this podcast, but I don't think we have. But do you think, I'm going to be cynical as always, negative like Andrea, do you think that when they set up Series 20, because it's a big anniversary, a big year, the producers said, look, Lord Sugar, we'd like you to do a triple firing at some point because that would raise the stakes. It would be brilliant television. Maybe you can pick when you want to do it, but you've got to have on your mind one of these weeks needs to be a triple firing. And I hope they don't say, you know, week by week, oh, 2 can go this week or something like that. I hope that Lord Sugar gets more of a decision. But it feels like if you were going to do a brainstorm of really big standout moments for a big season 20, a triple firing might be something that you'd add.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd almost say they potentially planned it to be this episode because both teams went so badly wrong. It felt a bit like they were set up to fail really badly this week.
True. And maybe that's why Lord Sugar or the team picked some clients that were quite vocal.
Exactly. But then again, you never know who they bring back, who they choose to bring back in the boardroom. So I doubt it can be set up that much before because, for example, if Megan brought back 2 of the strongest candidates just on a whim or because she thought they were responsible and then Lord Sugar didn't want to fire them, who knows? Then maybe a not even a double would have happened.
Yeah. That is very true. It was great television for us, though. What did you make of the fact that obviously no one was going back to the house to tell everybody that, you know, so-and-so was fired? What did you make of the fact that the phone rang and it was Lord Sugar? It wasn't the secretary who I thought it was going to be.
At least he's got to be the one to deliver the bad news.
That is true. Talking of the secretary, did you notice that she was busy this week on her computer? Does she have a pie chart or anything up?
She doesn't have a pie chart, but we're back to a table and a bar chart. And the table had some colour in there. I think we had some greens and some oranges, you know, when you have a nice coloured header.
Yeah.
So she was obviously comparing maybe profit and loss.
That would be quite good. Maybe what she's doing is relevant to the task every week.
Exactly. Maybe she's assessing the spend from each episode.
Yes, that would be good.
And now for the best part of the podcast, as always, it's Apprentice News with Greer.
With me. Well, this week, news, as you can imagine, after the episode is all about the triple firing. But we've just covered that, so I thought let's have a look at some of the reaction to the episode and The Apprentice so far on social media and in the comments. And we're going to start off with a comment that we've had in through Spotify. If you do listen to Back to the Boardroom on Spotify, you can leave us comments on there if you're not a WhatsApp or an Instagram fan. And this one's from Claire. It was about our water episode, and we weren't sure in part of it how the candidates knew that Big Zoo was part of a canned water company and he created it, and Claire let us know that he did introduce himself as the creator of a canned water company. We were obviously too busy writing our notes at that time. Exactly. But thanks, Claire, for letting us know. So
they should have known, and they shouldn't have said they don't like canned water in the pitch. There we go. Thank you, Claire.
Yes, so it's good that our listeners are as detail oriented as you, James. There's always a lot of discussion with The Apprentice, but specifically this year, I don't know. It's as these shows go on, people do like to say, oh, the candidates have gotten worse, or the talent on things like Britain's Got Talent have gotten worse, and all of that. It's just as long as you watch, I guess you get used to things, and then you say that they're worse, whether they actually are or not. But Sam on Twitter replied back to Lord Sugar when he teased the episode tonight, saying he's seen some. Lord Sugar said he has seen some kitchen disasters in his time on The Apprentice, but this one takes some beating. Unbelievable is the word. And I don't think Sam was in the spirit of the episode, because he's directly asked Lord Sugar, have you ever thought about letting good businessmen and women on the show who are actually competent and good at what they do, rather than have young Instagram influencer type businessmen and women who clearly are picked because they will mess up and make good TV? Which we talk about this a lot, don't we? About the mix between Instagram influencers and TV moments in real business.
I thought you were going to say Sam had said to Lord Sugar, could you come in the kitchen and show me how it's done then, or something like that?
Can you imagine? Do we think that Lord Sugar cooks for himself? I'm sure he has cooked throughout his life, but now in his stage of wealth, do you think he cooks for himself?
I don't think so.
No. He still would know that parsley stems are not for eating, though.
Indeed. And I think he probably can cook, but when you're past a certain, I'm talking like I'm
a billionaire,
have experience, but I would assume when you're past a certain point of wealth, unless you love cooking, someone will be paid to do it for you, or you go out to eat.
Exactly. What a lovely life he must lead. All those spa trips instead of introducing his task. People were then commenting back to Sam and saying, well, that wouldn't be entertaining, though, would it, if they were skilled business people? And I like this quote back that was, to be fair, this is cooking potato wedges. It's not a required business skill. So even if they were professional businessmen and women, they probably would have been designed in this task to fail rather than succeed. So people are agreeing with you, James, that the tasks may be set up to get the best TV moments rather than excellent business skills.
Exactly. I'm sure if I was assigned some of these tasks, like you see in the elevator pitch, we would also make fools of ourselves.
And another comment that I thought was interesting is this is from Thomas on Facebook. And he says, does anyone else just find themselves putting their head in their hands and cringing so much at the awkward nature that you cannot watch the television? Sometimes I just shout at the TV with my hands over my eyes like they can hear me. And I'm like, oh, shut up, please. Which I like. The idea that the challenges and the tasks are so cringe that you can't actually watch the TV. You have to sit with your hands over your eyes. So if you have any opinions about The Apprentice or about Back to the Boardroom and you want to let us know your opinion on something that we've spoken about, please do get in touch at Back to the Boardroom or on WhatsApp or on our Spotify comments. That was some of the reaction to what's going on this year, but we want to know what has been happening to the candidates who were fired this time last year. So you're here with an update from where are they now?
Yes, so the 5th week and the 6th week. So firstly, in the 5th week, there was no firing. A candidate chose to leave, and that was Dr. Jana, the cosmetic dentist. And he said on Instagram soon after, walking away from The Apprentice was one of the hardest choices I've ever had to make. I'm paraphrasing, Lord Sugar is an icon. I'll always be grateful for the opportunity, but my gut told me my journey wasn't meant to be there. And sometimes trusting yourself is the scariest but most powerful thing to do. So that that was one of his posts soon after he left. He started his business Den Studio. Couple of things he posted. So apparently, I think his first patient was the Superdry CEO. Learnt to open doors for others, giving people opportunity and treat patients like your family. He won Best Young Dentist in the South of the UK. And something interesting I found out is fellow contestant and finalist Jordan Dargun, as well as Liam from that series of The Apprentice, got their teeth done with Dr. Jana.
I love that. A discount, maybe.
Maybe, yes. It's brought in some clientele. He also had an exclusive appearance at Manchester United and shared a really nice video about sharing his success with his dad, who backed him. So that was Dr. Jana, who left after the 5th task. Moving swiftly on into who was fired from the 6th task, it's tutor company owner Johnny Heaver. And this might ring a bit of a bell. It's not about cooking potatoes, but it's about de-seeding tomatoes. And he posted, I think, near to where he left The Apprentice. He said, "Lord Sugar, mate, I got a first, not a 2-1. Unfortunately, they didn't have modules in de-seeding tomatoes.
Depends what course, I guess.
True. Other than that, got an ear piercing, did a video ranting about HMRC, and went to several nice places like Crete, Belgium, and Corfu, where he did a What I Wore in Corfu video, where it's him exiting his residence every day in a different outfit.
Nice.
That is my Instagram social media for the week.
I love it. You get to stalk the previous contestants on Instagram. And some good intel, though. I like that.
Yes. So where are they now? We'll return in a couple of episodes' time.
So we've come to the end of corporate away days. The candidates are now back safely in the Apprentice house without a treat yet again after spending their time in Egypt. So next week we're on episode 7. I can't believe it's come round so quickly. And I thought when they announced this, I was like, James is going to love this. 2 things that you like, games and fitness. They are tasked with taking on virtual reality fitness, building demos and brands before chasing investment in the boardroom. For one team, it's game over. So, James, do you have a final thought for us this week?
I think I'm going to be very critical on next week's task because of all the technology. But yes, my final thought is, given that we had a triple firing this week and we've already had a double firing, will we get an episode where no one gets fired?
Ooh, now that is one to puzzle over in the week ahead. So we'll be back here same time next week, but do let us know what you thought of The Apprentice and Back to the Boardroom on Instagram, WhatsApp, and in our Spotify comments. We'll see
you next week.
Next week.